Governor Cuomo, welcome to Syracuse. Welcome to Onondaga County. I had heard that you were in the building. I tried to talk as fast as I could. It's very hard when I have somebody running the PowerPoints that's trying to keep up with me, but I hope you got all the information. If you didn't, I'll write it down and you can read it at your leisure. I am very, very proud to have here Dr. Elaine Calieros. And I just want to tell you very briefly that Dr. Calieros, in our business, in politics, we're here for just a minute, and sometimes we make decisions that are short-term for instant gratification because we need to see the results before the next election day. But occasionally, there are decisions that are made that are in the best long-term interest of the people that are being served. A decision like that was made by Governor Mario Cuomo in the 1980s when he invested in Dr. Elaine Calieros. Dr. Calieros was a young student at the time, and this state continued its investment over the years in Dr. Elaine Calieros, and it resulted, after billions of dollars and thousands of new jobs being created, it resulted in the SUNY College of Nanoscale Science and Engineering. And Mario Cuomo saw what it was going to take in the 1980s. He planted a seed. He saw that there was potential for cutting-edge technology and real growth here in the state of New York. And he made an investment that I don't think he ever thought that he would see the results of. Governor Pataki, Governors Spitzer and Patterson came along, and I don't know whether he ever could have predicted that all of this would come to fruition to the benefit of the people who live in Buffalo. You saw the Riverbend project. That all came out of the Nano School at SUNY, and now it's Syracuse and Onondaga County's turn, and I'm very happy to bring up onto the stage Dr. Elaine Calieros for a special announcement.
Well, that concludes my speech for tonight. Thank you.
Try to talk fast.
Good evening. It is a true pleasure to be part of this exciting event. As you know, Governor Andrew Cuomo has created a successful and effective formula. You know, we scientists, we talk in formulas, for economic development, a formula that is establishing New York as a world leader in the 21st century innovation economy. The governor has done so by partnering our world-class colleges and universities with the public and the private sectors, drawing new companies and jobs, and creating an entrepreneurial environment that allows research to thrive and more innovations and discoveries to grow from the lab to the marketplace. I'm therefore honored and privileged to announce a public-private partnership to establish the Central New York Emerging Nano Industries Hub, an emerging hub right here in Onondaga County. I had to practice how to pronounce Onondaga. A hub that begins with a film industry, innovation, production, post-production, and distribution company. The hub, which will be located at Collamer Crossings Business Park on vacant industrial land in DeWitt. The state of New York, through CNSC, will invest $15 million to build over 100,000 square feet in state-of-the-art space to house the first anchor tenant in the hub, the new film company called, affectionately enough, the Film House. Could we see phase one, please? That's the phase one building. The Film House will make a private investment exceeding $150 million over 7 years and is projected to create over 350 new high-tech jobs over the same period. That's on top of the hundreds of construction jobs to build the facility. But more importantly, they're the first anchor tenant. The hub will also serve as a magnet for other companies from the movie industry to locate here and build businesses and create additional jobs. Could we see phase two and the site plan, please? We're also excited to tell you that CNSC will partner with the Film House to create the country's first nano film school. It's not nano as in small, it's a school for nano applications. To provide education and training to a movie industry workforce in upstate New York, as well as help bring nanotechnology innovations to drive next-generation computer-generated imagery, high-definition 3D animation, and motion capture technologies. Since Nanofilm School is part of the SUNY system, businesses that locate here will be eligible to participate in the Startup New York program, which means no income tax, no sales tax, no property tax, no business or corporate tax for 10 years. It's as good as it gets. Movies produced by the Film House will be eligible for the New York State Film Tax Credit and Post-Production Tax Credit. We're grateful for the support of the County Executive, Joni Mahoney. Please join me in giving her a round of applause. The county invested $1.4 million in funds and a $400,000 low-interest loan to help develop the site to make this project possible. In addition, we're excited about the commitment from the county in conjunction with the Syracuse International Film Festival to create an Onondaga County Film Commission and recruit a new film commissioner. The commission would provide marketing, coordination, and logistics to support film production in Onondaga County, which will further help make this new hub a success. In language that I'm sure all of you Orange fans will appreciate, this announcement is the equivalent of putting Derek Coleman, John Wallace, Caramello Anthony, and Jerry McNamara all on the same team. Except, instead of Boynham, we have Coach Cuomo. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the brains behind the Film House, Ryan Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate it. Just want to say thank you, everyone, for being here. We're very excited about all this, and it's an honor to be doing it in Syracuse, and looking forward to spending a whole lot more time up here, particularly with the weather warming up. I've been a producer of a bunch of movies over the last couple decades, and my partner, Mike Haggerty, and I have started the Film House over a year ago, and as we've been expanding and planning on where we could really set up shop and drop anchor in a place where we could grow and build a labor force and an infrastructure that would support going somewhere. We looked all over the country. We looked at some international locations, really vetted a lot of different ways to go, and it became very obvious to us that New York was the place. And sure, with the fact that Governor Cuomo has transformed New York into a business-friendly destination, especially for film and TV industry, the incentives themselves make it very enticing to be up here. But knowing that we wanted to have roots and grow, the partnership with New York's world-class College of Nanoscale Science and Engineering was also not just extremely attractive, but essential. And working with Dr. Kailaris, it became abundantly clear that CNSE would be a perfect fit for us, and hence here in Syracuse. So not only will we get to work with a first-of-its-kind educational institution that will drive production innovations globally, it will help train and develop our future workforce so we can continue to grow in Central New York and Syracuse. And then, in going along with the growing trend that production and industry jobs are on the rise all across New York and its reputation, the advantages of doing our work in New York has been written in industry trades like the LA Times, Deadline Hollywood, and Variety. For example, the Tonight Show's back in New York City, and of course New York City continues to be a top industry destination. However, it's a statewide phenomenon. Spider-Man being shot in Rochester, Place Beyond the Pines in Schenectady, Clearly, New York is a great place to film, and but in addition to, particularly in this region, New York also is a quality of life that we're looking for. We want to be in a state that would be good for our employees, complete with vibrant communities, good schools, arts, culture. We found all of that here in central New York. So the production and research that will be done here in Syracuse with CNSE used to be centered in California and overseas, but not anymore. And this hub and the partnership with New York State and CNSE means we're putting Syracuse on the map as a place for production work and develop of the next generation of technologies. And as far as the film house, we're ready to go immediately. We plan to bring 3 feature films here this summer and to keep rolling out from there, to go up to 5 to 10 features per year, and each film employing several hundred people, all in the majority of from the local area. So we are thrilled to be part of the growth here in upstate New York, and would again like to thank and commend the governor for his continued support of the entertainment industry. And it's my esteemed pleasure to introduce the governor, Andrew Cuomo.
Well done. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, it's my pleasure to be back in Onondaga, and I didn't practice. And what a fitting setting for today. Carnegie Library, great reminder of what New York was all about, as we're talking about what New York will be all about, right? Great remember of the past and our legacy as we look forward to the future. To Mr. Ryan Johnson, let's give him a big welcome. Welcome to New York, Mr. Ryan Johnson. And to first and foremost, your county executive, who is really one of the stellar public officials across this entire state. She's done a really fantastic job. You are lucky to have her. Let's give a round of applause. County Executive Joni Mahoney. And you met Dr. Elaine Calleros. He's New York's secret weapon, Dr. Elaine Calleros. You know, he is the father, the mother, the cousin, the brother of nanoscience and nanoscale technology in New York, which has been transformative. The Capital District region, where nano was birthed, literally billions of dollars in development in the capital region, it transformed it. And people talk about nano like it's this recent discovery and it just happened quickly. As the county executive said, Dr. Calleros has been in New York working on this for many, many years, literally. Started when my father was governor of New York. The Cuomos, we now fight over Dr. Calleros and ownership of him. My father says that he discovered Elaine Calleros, which is technically true. I said I worked with him to bring him into full bloom and what he's now doing. So we vie for who's the originator. But Dr. Calleros has an international reputation for cutting-edge development. And what he's done in the capital region, what he's done in Buffalo, what he's doing here in Syracuse, what he's done in Utica, it really is amazing. And we are blessed to have him. And we are blessed to have a person who is that committed to this state. He's worked over 20 years in this state. He's younger now than when he started with my father, that I'm not quite sure. I think there's something in the nano math that does that. But let's give him a round of applause, Dr. Elaine Calleros. And let me say this. You heard the State of the County address. The State of the County can be within the state of Upstate New York. And we know the story of Upstate New York. We've gone through tough economic times. We were invested in the manufacturing economy. The manufacturing economy transitioned over a period of time. Frankly, the state was not on its game, I believe, in working through the economic transition. You had to work through what we did in the manufacturing and now what we're going to do in the new economy. And we didn't do as well as we could have in that transition. And in some ways, we're still paying the price. We then hurt ourselves economically because the cost of doing business in the state of New York got so high that people and businesses are smart and they can vote with their feet and they'll leave. We're one of the highest tax states in the country. And that is not a prognosis for a long-term economic future. And we've heard that story over and over and over again. We now are actually doing something about it, but that was the situation. And the high taxes simply have to be gotten under control. We've made great progress over the past 3 years. We've reduced the personal income tax. Every New Yorker today pays a lower income tax rate than they did 3 years ago. Every New Yorker today pays a lower income tax rate than they did 3 years ago, and that's the arrows pointed in the right direction. Middle class. Middle class in New York State, middle class with a broad definition up to $300,000, lowest income rate in 60 years, our middle income tax rate. So on the personal income tax, we're making significant progress. We proposed a corporate tax cut this year. We proposed a manufacturer's tax cut this year, especially for upstate manufacturers. And we're finally getting our hands around the worst tax in the state of New York, which is not the personal income tax, it's the property tax. We collect more from property tax than we do from the personal income tax. And the property tax is a killer, for lack of a better word. It's literally, when you talk to people and businesses about why they're leaving New York, they'll point to the property tax. One of the highest in the United States. Literally, Westchester County, Nassau County, number 1, number 2 in absolute dollars in the property tax. And by percentage of home value, 13 of the 15 highest tax counties in the country are upstate New York. So the property tax we have to get a handle on, and we're starting this year. Why is the property tax high? Because we have a lot of government. 10,500 governments in the state of New York. You believe that? When you add up all the counties, the towns, the villages, 10,500. And it's unaffordable for us, especially in upstate New York. Because in upstate New York, we've been losing population in some areas, and we've been growing government. You know, city of Buffalo is about a third smaller. City of Rochester is about a third smaller. City of Syracuse about 25% smaller since the 70s. But the number of government employees is going up. And you can't have those two lines going in different directions. Syracuse, the population goes down by 25%. The number of government employees goes up by 50%. Fewer people paying a higher cost of government. Taxes go up, people leave, and it gets worse and worse and worse. That's the cycle we have to change. And that's what we're working on, and that's what your county executive is working on. We have to consolidate those governments. We have to streamline those governments because many of them have been basically insolvent and been subsidized by the state for a long, long time. I want to get the state out of the business of subsidizing insolvency. Let's do the kind of reorganization that we have to do so we have a scale that is actually affordable long-term. And that's why I give the county executive such credit for working with the mayor of the city of Syracuse. How do you come together and find shared services, find ways to save money so those governments are actually more efficient? And we need to take that example and we need to do it all across the state, which is what we're working on this year. I have a proposal I'm trying to get my colleagues in the legislature to pass, which would freeze the property tax for 2 years. It would be probably the first time in modern political history your property tax did not go up. Freeze the property tax for 2 years if the local governments come up with a plan to share and to cooperate, because we have to get the costs down. But the future is exactly what the county executive is doing and what you're doing here in Onondaga, which is you have to grow. We're going to get the costs down, but you have to get the revenue up. And the way you get the revenue up is by growing. And that's what the Solve project was all about. And I want to congratulate Chairman McMahon for his great work. And Mike Falcone. Is Mike Falcone here too? Manny Falcone. Hey, Manny. How are you? I want to congratulate him on his good work and Mayor Benedetti, because it really was. The Solve project is very exciting. And right after Solve, we have this. Now, who would have ever figured Hollywood comes to Onondaga, right? You would have never guessed, but it has. And this is exciting, and this, what Dr. Calleros really specializes in, is building what they call cluster economies, where you bring a business that begets another business all around the same cluster. And that's exactly what this is all about. It puts two programs that are working very well for the state together. One is the film tax credit, where we offer companies that make movies a film tax credit. And it's been very successful, and we literally attract companies from Hollywood. I did an event the other day in New York City where Disney is coming to New York and is going to shoot 60 episodes of Marvel movies, the Marvel comic characters. I offered to be one, but it didn't work out. But they're coming with the film tax credit. And then we extended the film tax credit to bring that work to upstate New York, because it is highly lucrative work. It's not just the actors, it's the production, it's the on-site, it's the post-production, it's the film work, it's everything. It's a whole economy unto itself. So that program has been working very well, where we literally are competitive with Hollywood and Toronto, which is the other place that's been doing very well, shooting movies. So that program works, and the Startup New York program. And the Startup New York, as you heard from the county executive, it's so simple that it has to work. Startup New York says, we have a geographic zone, and in that zone, you pay no tax, period. You know what they say about New York? High tax. In that zone, zero tax. So it's literally the least expensive place in the country to site your business. Because even a no-income tax state has some tax, because the state needs revenue. So it'll be no income tax, but it'll be a value-added tax or property tax, et cetera. Startup zone, no tax, period. No property tax, no sales tax, no income tax, not for the owner of the company, not for the employees. So if you're looking for the cheapest place to do business, least expensive place from a governmental cost point of view, it's a startup zone. You put that startup zone together with the film tax credit, and that is a powerful 1-2. And it can really start an entire cluster economy, and that is exactly what you're seeing here. So the Salve Project. And Film Hub, it's credit and a kudos to your elected officials and to the good work you're doing here, the partnership that you have, your ability to make things happen, the good relationship between the county executive and the county board, where they actually work, and they work together, and they work together quickly, right? Which makes all the difference, because when you have a business like Mr. Johnson, you want to know that it's going to happen now, and the delay becomes the problem. So congratulations to all. I can't tell you how excited I am. I know it's been a tough spell in upstate New York. And a lot of people made the mistake of leaving upstate New York because they didn't know. We were just taking a pause in our development. And now the sky is the limit, because the arrows are pointed in the right direction. And there is no place in this country that has what we have in upstate New York. Every asset, every resource you could imagine, we have right here. And if you could pick a place to live and to do business, you would pick upstate New York. You have, and many more will. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Governor Cuomo. And there'll be a quiz, and I want to know what happened at Tony Mahoney's State of the County. Do you know anything other than this wonderful news? Thank you for coming and for listening and for helping. There's a lot of people in this room that have made these announcements possible. Thank you to the members of the county legislature to whom I have delivered my State of the County, and we are concluded. Have a nice night. Thank you.